Hey there, welcome to Ask Dr. Patel, where I answer your questions about medical marijuana. And today I'm going to dive deep into everything related to CBD oil. Now, more specifically, I'll even walk you through how to buy CBD oil. So I'll answer some of the most commonly asked questions that I've received over the years about CBD oil. And where I want to start is with the question, what is CBD oil? So basically, it's a concentrated extract from the plant species Cannabis sativa L. Now, next, what is CBD and where does it come from? So basically, CBD stands for cannabidiol, and it's one of the many chemicals that's made by the plant species Cannabis sativa L. Now, the plant Cannabis sativa L can be subdivided into two categories, hemp or cannabis. And when I say cannabis, I also mean marijuana. I'm using both terms interchangeably. The main difference between hemp and cannabis is really a legal one. It comes down to the amount of THC. So per section 7606 of the Agricultural Act of 2014, hemp is defined as having less than 0.3% THC, and therefore by default, cannabis has more than 0.3% THC. So hemp and cannabis come from the same plant species, and really the distinction between the two is a legal one. Now, basically, hemp CBD oil has less THC in it, and cannabis CBD oil has more THC in it. Now, is there an advantage or even a disadvantage to having more or less THC? It entirely depends on the medical condition that you're treating. So I want you to listen in closely because this is really, really important. The general perception out there is that CBD has all the medical value when it comes to either hemp or marijuana. But in fact, that's not the case. Some medical conditions benefit from more CBD, some medical conditions benefit from more THC, and then there are some medical conditions that benefit from both THC and CBD. So really, if you have a condition that doesn't benefit from the use of CBD, then it's not an option worth pursuing. Really, it's a waste of your money. Next question is the CBD in hemp different from the CBD in marijuana? In terms of chemical structure, the CBD in hemp is the same as the CBD in cannabis. It's coming from the same plant, and your body's going to recognize the CBD in hemp the same as the CBD in cannabis. All right, now, what's the amount of CBD in hemp oil and what's the amount of CBD in cannabis oil? So there's a couple different places that people buy cannabis and or hemp CBD oil from. One is at a medical marijuana dispensary in a state where marijuana has been deemed legal for either medical or recreational use. Some, not all of these states have regulations in place to assure the quality of the products being sold at these medical marijuana dispensaries. So I took a look at some test results from a state certified lab based out of Washington called Analytical 360. Now, I specifically chose Washington because it has some pretty solid laboratory testing regulations in place for marijuana. So let's have a look. So by definition, the first two samples listed would be considered hemp because they contain less than 0.3% THC. Now, the rest of the samples on the list would be considered cannabis, being that they have THC levels that are higher than 0.3%. Regardless, the amounts of CBD in the samples that come from both hemp and cannabis listed here are both pretty high. Now, another place that people purchase specifically hemp CBD oil is through websites on the internet. And of course, as it stands, there are no regulations in place to assure the quality of the products being sold through websites on the internet. So in 2015 and in 2016, the FDA, otherwise known as the Food and Drug Administration, ran some tests on CBD products sold through these websites on the internet. And let's have a look at these results. Okay, so there are a couple of things I want you to notice about these laboratory test results. The first is that in some of these products, CBD wasn't detected at all, or it paled in comparison to the claim that was made on the label. So let me walk you through some examples here. Here's one example. The claim made on the label said 50 milligrams of CBD, but it actually tested negative for cannabinoids. Same here, claim made on the label said 21% CBD, but it tested negative for cannabinoids. Here's another example. Claim made was 50 milligrams of 21% CBD, but it tested negative for cannabinoids. Here, they claimed 500 milligrams of CBD, but again, it tested negative for cannabinoids. And then finally, here's another example. The claim made was 21% CBD, but it actually tested negative for cannabinoids. Now, here's another example where the claim made on the label said 26% CBD, but they only detected 0.14% CBD. Now let's take a look at the test results from 2016. So here's a product that claimed to have 25.2% CBD, but when the product was tested, it actually had very negligible amounts of CBD in it. The second thing I want you to notice is that some of these products actually had more than 0.3% THC in them. So here's an example here that had 0.45% THC. And then if we look at the test results from 2016, again, you'll notice here's one product that has 0.84% THC. Here's another one that has 0.86% THC. Here's another product that has 0.55% THC. And then here are a couple of other products that have 1.7% THC, 1.9% THC, and 1.3% THC. Now let's compare the amounts of CBD in the products sold at the medical marijuana dispensary in the state of Washington, and then we'll compare it to what's sold online over the internet. So you'll notice the percentages of CBD here range anywhere from 49.09% all the way up to 99.93%. Now, in these test results from 2015, the highest amount of CBD in these products is this one, 2.6%. And then from the test results from 2016, the highest amount is 35% CBD. Now, of course, for obvious reasons, the FDA sent out warning letters to these companies. Some of these companies were making untruthful claims about the amount of CBD in their products, and also some of these companies were selling products that actually had more than federally legal amounts of THC in them. Now it's no wonder that I've had patients come into my office telling me that they purchased a supposed hemp CBD oil product through a website on the internet, and either it didn't work, or they'll tell me that they actually felt high off of the product that they purchased. For this reason, I've come up with a list of questions for patients to ask sellers when buying a CBD oil. So here's the thing. For as long as the industry stays unregulated, you are bound to find snake oil salesmen that'll make all sorts of unqualified claims about their products to make a quick buck. So really, it's on you to be a smart consumer. And how do you become a smart consumer? I'll teach you. I've come up with a list of criteria for my patients to use when buying CBD oil, which are, number one, is the maker of the CBD oil accountable to anyone? It's when a company is not accountable to anyone that, to make a quick buck, they may use deceptive and misleading marketing and advertising and get away with it. Now, in some states where marijuana is legal for either medical or recreational use, there are rules and regulations in place that the makers of the CBD oils have to abide by. So for patients in these states where marijuana is legal for medical and or recreational use, they're better off purchasing the CBD oil from state licensed facilities that are authorized specifically to dispense marijuana and hemp products. Now there's a whole question of buying CBD oil off of the internet. Like I showed you with the laboratory test results the FDA carried out, it's much more difficult to trust the quality of what you're being sold, unfortunately. The second question to ask is the product laboratory tested? The company that made the product should be able to present to you the most recent laboratory test results for the product. And at the very least, the laboratory test results should indicate the exact amounts of cannabinoids, so THC and CBD, in the product. And the last question to ask is, what was the CBD extracted in? So sure, it's called an oil, but it may not be an oil. Many times CBD is extracted in a hydrocarbon like butane, which can be harmful to your health. So check to ask what the CBD was extracted in. All right, so there you have it. Now you know exactly how to purchase CBD oil. And if you have any questions for me, then please post them in the comment section below, and I'll be more than happy to answer them in the next video. And thank you for joining me this time around. I will catch you next time. Bye.